So Zealous Armada. I honestly don't don't know a lot about the Zealous Armada, so I'm going to talk more about Predator Island. Predator Island, comprised of Mighty Keb from the Predators, makes sense, and Sunstorm from the Skyborn. Both these captains did play yesterday in the Big Brass Revival. And if you didn't catch Big Brass Revival live, I highly recommend you check out those VODs whenever they go up, or perhaps at twitch.tv/GunsOfIcarus. But first off, for the Zealous Armada, we have the Scott Skirling, piloted by Lou Harris. It's a galleon with left side Hades Lumberjack Heavy Flak, right side Heavy Carronade Hwacha. Their ally is the ZAFS Spearhead, piloted by Celine Dijon. Goes great on Ham. Hwacha Goldfish, left side Light Carronade, right side Light Carronade. And their opponents, Predator Island, we have the Greasy Dream. Piloted by Mighty Keb, it is a Gatling Banshee Squid that he's very much known for, with a rear light carronade. And their ally, the Reborn, piloted by Sunstrom, it is a Hades dual Artemis Mobula, with a Gatling and a light flak on the left side. So what I was about to say is that both these captains for Predator Island did play in the Big Brass yesterday, and to varying success. We saw Mighty Keb on the Predators getting knocked out at 4th place by Clan, and the Reborn's pilot Sunstrom making it to the grand finals before being eliminated by the Fancy Cloud Dancers. So both these captains rather, maybe with a little something to prove today, that they didn't quite satisfy their bloodlust during Big Brass. So we see Greasy Dream now moving in. This is a style that Mighty Keb is very much known for, is a highly aggressive squid play. Just moving in close, trying to break up any defensive formation that the targets might have. And the Reborn's going to sit back and lend support fire with the Hades dual Artemis. Long range firepower, good disable power. Going to be very difficult for the Galleon to keep up their heavy weapons in the face of the dual Artemis. And ZFS Spearhead, the Goldfish here on red team, their role is going to be to play kind of the watchdog for this Galleon. The Galleon's big, it's slow, it's tanky, doesn't react well to ships that are trying to get into its blind spot. So the Goldfish's job is to keep the squid at bay so that the Galleon can fully utilize the immense firepower of those quad heavy weapons. But as we see now, Reborn moving in, getting an armor break, doing about 60% promo hold to the Scott Sterling. The Hades Artemis, the sheer damage output of the Mobula is enormous. And on this next armor break, I'm sure we're going to get a kill, and the Galleon does go down. Doesn't matter how much health you have in the face of the weapons platform that is this blue Mobula. Greasy Dream also picking up the kill. And that was a pretty dominating fight from Predator Island. Zealous Armada just not in the right state to deal with that kind of an aggressive push. And this is going to be very hard because the fight did take place in red side of the spawn. Blue team has already done kind of half the work in that they are ready. They don't need to try to close the distance on the Galleon. They're going to be wherever the Galleon spawns, which is right here. Red team taking the farthest possible, the most northern possible spawn for these red ships. And they do actually have a little bit of distance here, so let's see if we can get some good lumberjack shots from the Scott Sterling. That's going to be very important, because if they can knock out the Greasy Dream's balloon, then that's a way that they can allow their ally, the Spearhead, to pick up a nice ram kill. But we're not seeing a lot of great lumberjack shots here. A little bit of Hades going out to the Reborn. Oh, there's some lumberjack. Reborn's balloon going down. Reborn popping drogue shoot to try to stay in the air, but the Greasy Dream has moved in behind the Galleon. Gatling coming out in combination with the Hades from the Reborn, getting a fast armor break. But the Reborn's a little too low to utilize their Artemis. Artemis is a very powerful disable weapon, but its one real weakness is that the height, it doesn't shoot up. So if you can knock out the target's balloon, as the Scott Sterling has done, Reborn's not going to be able to use most of the weapons on their ships. This is a pretty good position for the Galleon, but it is going to be a little difficult for them to actually get the kill. And you see Spearhead also doing a great job satisfying their role here. They're keeping the Greasy Dream off of the Galleon, keeping them locked down with that Hwacha. And Greasy Dream's going to try to move in to utilize some Banshee here to finish off the Scott Sterling, but the AFS Spearhead is right nearby, ready to push him away, and Greasy Dream has to dodge out. But the one problem that the Zealous Armada has here is that they haven't done any real damage to the Reborn. As you see the Greasy Dream on the right side of our screen here, Greasy Dream and the ZAFS Spearhead are kind of going back and forth. So Squid is sort of, well, I was going to say Squid sort of out of the picture, but ZAFS Spearhead not quite wrangling the Squid as much as he needs to. The Greasy Dream's able to engage with the Gatling gun, and this might be, yeah, another kill with the Artemis. Yeah. Is that when you have a situation like that, you saw that the Galleon was able to get a good balloon lock on the Mobula, but they weren't able to follow up with any real damage. And a lot of that just comes down to the aim of the gunners. Is when you run a ship like a Galleon, the Galleon is a very high skill ship from both a piloting perspective and from a gunning perspective. So you get the lumberjack shots, target starts dropping, and as the target drops, that makes it more difficult for your Hades to hit, more difficult for your heavy flak to hit. And those are things that the Galleon's gunners are going to have to compensate for if you want to actually do the damage. Because knocking out the balloon is not enough if you can't even break their hull armor. Like, it's wasting time, essentially. So if the Galleon really if they want to bring a Galleon to this kind of a match against two very experienced competitive pilots that we have here on Predator Island, they're really going to have to key in their gunner's aim. And this is good practice. It might not work out in this game, but they'll certainly be a little bit better than they started with. And once again, you see Predator Island moving south, preempting a southern spawn near this big peak. But instead, red team waiting for the blue team to reposition and then taking the same spawn that they had before. So we're basically seeing a reset of the same type of engagement. But this time, ZAFS Spearhead, very aggressive posturing from the Red Goldfish. They're moving in here. I think they're going to try to watch it coming out. Doesn't actually disable anything on the Reborn. Greasy Dream now moving up to intercept the Goldfish, and this may be a very fast dual team on the ZAFS Spearhead, unless we get some lumberjack shots on the Reborn, which we're not getting. Spearhead down to about 70% promo hull already from that first volley. Like, these lumberjack shots not hitting. Reborn's balloon is down, but not fast enough. Red Goldfish, the 5th point for Predator Island. Very dominating victory. And I'll look and check to see what the next map is. Parrot Rumble. And hopefully Zealous Armada can put a little more resistance together on this next map. The second match here between the Zealous Armada and Predator Island, this time going to be on Parrot and Rumble. I need to unmute the game audio. First off, for the Zealous Armada, we have the Yandara Knife Party. Ooh, here we go. Piloted by Luharis, Pyramidian with a Mine Launcher Artemis front, left side double flare gun. The AI special. Their ally, the Celine Dijon, watch a Goldfish, light carronades on both sides. Their opponent, Predator Island, the Roskov, piloted by Sunstrom. Left side Artemis Hades, right side Gatling Mortar, and their ally, the Graveyard Shift, piloted by Mighty Keb. Dual light carronade on the left side, Banshee and Gatling light flak looks like on the right. And I was talking before the match about how the Spire is one of the ships that can really navigate a lot of the alleys on this map pretty well. And the Junker has a similar quality in that it has very good close range maneuverability. It's able to navigate around like the corners of these buildings pretty well. Certainly much better than the Pyramidian can. But they are going to have to be very careful. The Mine Launcher, we saw it do a lot of work during Big Brass Survival yesterday. It's one of the highest variants. Oh, I forgot. I need to give you guys some, like, camera movement here. One of the highest variance weapons in the game. If you can land your hits, it's one of the most powerful weapons you can use, doing damage to everything on the target's ship, as well as knocking them out of position. But if you miss, if you don't have the gunner that can back up the talk, it does basically nothing. And now we see the Graveyard Shift moving in close on the Yandara Knife Party. The Gatling Mortar already engaging the Pyramidian. Pyramidian trying to moonshine out, but in doing so has blocked the Spearhead's Hwacha. And Graveyard Shift doing a great job here, trying to use the Pyramidion as kind of a Hwacha shield. Pyramidion now ducking out to give their ally Goldfish a clear shot, and here come the mines. Rozkov a little too far back. Junker, fast close-range maneuverability, but not fast charging speed. So with the Rozkov this far back here, the Graveyard Shift's going to be all on their own in this fight, and I'm not quite sure what Sunstrom is waiting here as you see them. Okay, here they go. Rozkov does have the Gatling Mortar. And it looks like they're going to be engaging the Spearhead with the Yandara Knife Party, going for a ram on the Graveyard Shift. Graveyard Shift's armor's down. They're down to about 20% permahull. Mine coming out. If one of these mines, none of the mines hit, a little unfortunate. Graveyard Shift is dropping. They're pretty far down, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get these solid mine connections. And they're backing out as the ZAFS Spearhead gets a kill on the Rozkov. And Spearhead's going to try to, looks like a little bit of tar mixed in with these normal map clouds, but I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for Graveyard Shift to escape. As I said, Junker does not have very fast charging speed. Once the Junker's committed to a fight, it's pretty much fully committed. And we're going to have to see some pretty tight piloting if they want to escape. Yeah, Hwacha coming out, taking out the engines. And I imagine some light carronades here into the Graveyard Shift's balloon. All it's going to take is one solid connection into one of these buildings. Spearhead actually flying past a small piloting error. Graveyard Shift ducking down. And I think this is more or less a confirmed kill. I don't think Rozkov is going to... Well, maybe they are. I was going to say, I don't think they're going to commit to another fight, but Graveyard Shift... Red Team's having a lot of difficulty killing this Junker as this tar is doing a huge amount of damage, taking out every component on the Spearhead. And now Rozkov moving in. We might be able to see a double team. A flip-de-doo here with a bad situation turned into a good one as Rozkov turns to engage Gatling more on the Yandara Knife Party. Knife Party totally disabled by the tar. The mortars coming out and destroying the red Pyramidion. I'm baffled that the Zealous Armada was unable to kill Graveyard Shift there. Like, that's ridiculous. Maybe a partial testament to the power of tar. Just like they really don't want to fly through it. Let's see if, once again, the AFS Spearhead, they might be able to escape. They do get a good Hwacha. Come on, Goldfish, I believe in you. Taking some light carronade into the balloon. Balloon at about half health. Oh, they're going to lose balloon here. Yeah, it looks like they're not actually going to be able to escape. The Yandara's Knife Party already spawned in. They need to definitely not expose themselves. Back out, bro. Back out. Oh, they should not be firing Artemis. Because both these blue Junkers do have access to some long-range weapons. Rozkov with the more traditional Hades double Artemis. And Graveyard Shift can assist with both the Banshee and the light flak, although the Graveyard Shift does not have any long-range piercing. So a little... Yeah, Yandara Knife Party playing with fire a bit. Taking some unnecessary pot shots. Although the one thing they are doing, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but they've taken the attention away from the spawn zone that's behind the blue team. So now the ZAFS Spearhead is spawned in as long as... No, excuse me. As long as the Yandara Knife Party can stay alive long enough for their ally to come back in. Spearhead getting a great Hwacha barrage onto the Graveyard Shift. Now let's see, are we going to get some mines? Ooh, big mine hit on the Rozkov, going for a ram. The Yandara Knife Party is not quite able to hit them. Moonshining backwards now. And Spearhead doing a great job keeping both these Junkers kind of in a constant repair cycle by splitting the Hwacha between them. Using Light Carronade as well. Light Carronade very effective against the Junker's large balloon. Rozkov's going to bump here against the building. They're trying to drop down, but now they're halted in place, and a motionless ship is a prime target for mines. So it looks like Lesmok Mines still going for the Graveyard Shift. Taking him out. And we might be able to see finally a lead here for the Zealous Armada if they can land a few more solid mine connections. Spearhead dropping down for bumping them down, limiting the Junker's movement vectors, and again, the less directions the target has to move in, the easier it is to hit them with mines. Although they've kind of, at this point, pushed them out of the entire Knife Party's arc, but they should be able to get a kill here by smashing this Junker into the ground. Watch it coming out just for good measure. Here comes the ram. Impact damage coming in. Balloons on fire. One more tap, and Roscoff does go down. That's now 3-2, a 3-2 lead for the Zealous Armada. Doing a much better job in these kind of close quarters, low movement fights than they were on Northern Fjords. And I definitely feel like the Junkers maybe want to go for more of an open air fight, because they definitely do not want to. We've been seeing some pretty good mine hits, and once you've evaluated the efficacy of the enemy's mine gunner, if you judge it to be good, you want to stay the hell away from that gun. So I'd like to see a little bit of long range play, which you can definitely do on this map, because there are a lot of these buildings, but the buildings don't quite extend to the height ceiling, so you can definitely shoot over them. And also probably need to see a little more dual focus onto the Pyramidion. Pyramidion is going to be the squishier of these two ships. Spearhead now. Spearhead has engaged the blue team a little bit early, maybe not expecting to find them so quickly. And we see dual galling coming onto the red goldfish. Armor going down. Light flax coming out. 30% damage, not too bad. A fast rebuild by the engineers on the Spearhead. And Yindara Knife Party is moving behind. They're going to go for a flank. Let's see if they cut through the center of the building or try to go all the way around. Looks like for now they're sitting back with Artemis. A little indecisive. Here comes in. Oh, Knife Party taking a little bit of a bump. Oh, this is bad. This is going to take a long time for the Pyramidion to reposition. And now the Spearhead has to take the brunt of both these blue Junkers yet again. Just a tiny piloting error from the captain of the Knife Party. That could have, if they had not hit that building and gone straight in onto the Roscoff, landed a mine, sent the Junker out of position, that could have been a totally different fight. But now the match is tied up. Yindara Knife Party is in dire straits. No way they're going to be able to escape from this. Escape from the dual Gatlings of Predator Island. Armor's down. Light flax, banshees, Artemis, everything, all the explosive that the girl could want. Right into Yindara Knife Party. You have to be real careful. Real careful when piloting on this map. Oh, here we go. We got some ally tar here for funsies. I've been talking a lot about the mine launcher of the Pyramidion, but there is another gun on the front of this ship, the Artemis. Artemis is also pretty important when you're facing against a Junker, because all the Junker's components are tightly coupled on the bottom of the ship. The Artemis is a very effective weapon, and landing those Artemis shots in the right spot on the ship can be the difference between going into a fight with your enemies all on guns, or with them all on repairs. And obviously you want them on repairs, so they're not going to be shooting back, and you can just kind of target their hull and balloon with abandoned. So graveyard shift, using a little bit of tar to mask their escape. The AFS Spearhead's a little farther back, and it looks like they've switched up the roles here, with the Yindara Knife Party being the focus of the enemy team, and Spearhead's gonna wait back and try to find an opportunity to pop in. And hopefully they don't make the same mistake that the Knife Party did and getting stuck on the terrain, because that's something you have to be very cognizant of on this map. Watch it coming out, targeting the graveyard shift, taking out actually all the guns on the graveyard shift are down. In the meantime, the Yindara Knife Party taking a lot of 80s from the Roscoff. I do like what I'm seeing from the Roscoff here, taking down the whole armor of Yindara Knife Party. Artemis coming out. You can just see the sheer damage of the Hades dual Artemis. Doesn't matter what ship it's on. It could certainly kill you from any range. Except mine launcher range. But I don't think Yindara Knife Party is going to be able to get there. And they go down. 5-3 victory for Predator Island. And that was a much closer game, and I definitely feel like Zealous Armada, minus a couple small positioning and piloting mistakes, definitely could have taken one or two more of those fights. And we'll see what the next map is here. Going into potentially the last game of our best of 5 set here between the Zealous Armada and Predator Island. Predator Island up 2 points. And if the Zealous Armada want to take this is going to have to be the start of an incredible comeback. So first off, for Red Team, we have the Scott Sterling. Piloted by Lou Harris, we have a left side 80s Lumberjack Heavy Flak. Right side Heavy Carronade Washer, your very standard split galleon. Their ally, the ZAFS Spearhead, we saw this in the Northern Fjords match. Watch of Goldfish with light carronades on both sides, piloted by Celine Dijon. Their opponents, Predator Island, we have the Paul from Accounting. Left side, Gatling Hwacha Minotaur. Right side, Heavy Carronade Hwacha, piloted by Mighty Cab. And finally, the Strom Delight, which is either some type of European candy or something that you'd have to look up on Urban Dictionary. It is a Spire. Lumberjack on the front, Gatling, Light Flak, and Mine Launcher. Piloted by Sunstrom. So this non-standard ship composition that we're seeing for Predator Island here, Paul from the Counting is definitely going to need to initiate these fights and is going to try to act as kind of a shield for their Spire, as this is basically a team with the tankiest ship in the game paired with the most fragile ship. So Paul from Accounting is going to have to use their brute force here, their full close range galleon, to make something happen. And here we go, Scott Sterling maybe a little bit out of position. ZF Spearhead at low altitude, Heavy Carronade coming out. Scott Sterling losing their balloon, Hwacha coming out, Lumberjack shots from the Strom Delight. Spearhead's going to have to initiate on this fight very quickly. Very quickly, I said, as here comes the Hwacha on the left side of the Paul from Accounting, and a ram trying to knock out the balloon, but just glancing off. Looks like the front of the ship actually going into the hull armor. Now the AFS Spearhead flying into the Strom Delight. Lumberjack coming out, knocking out the hull armor. Several light flak shots, knocking the Spearhead down to about 60% perma hull. And they're on the broadside of the Paul from Accounting. So if we see a Hwacha here, they're certainly going to go down. Man, very aggressive charge. Spearhead taking a little bit too long to gear up here for that fight. Now the Scott Sterling Galleon, no way Galleon can escape from a 2v1 situation. One of the slow ships in the game. Lumberjack coming out, knocking out their balloon. Gatlings, light flaks. Paul from Accounting using some Minotaur for good measure. And that's going to be a second point for Predator Island. Already a bit of a rough start for the Zealous Armada. Spearhead has to be a little bit more aware of Blue Team's posturing. They maybe didn't expect, because Blue Team took kind of a non-standard charge here, going all the way around this big wreck, which is something you don't see a lot. I think the typical Duel at Dawn match is both teams poking out of their spawn zones in the opposite ribs, kind of poking the center map, spotting each other. So that unexpected angle working very well for Predator Island. But now they're kind of on the run here. They're going to be on the defensive for this next fight. And we'll see if Zealous Armada, how they try to pursue here. I would like to see them focus down the Spire first. Spire will die very quickly if they can land any of those Hades shots. There is a cloud in the way, so these shots are going to be a little bit difficult. As they do, while they do have a spot, they don't have actual visibility. So this is a partial blind fire here. And Strom Delight moving behind the ribs for cover. And this is something we saw on what was it? It was during Big Brass for sure. But we saw another team bringing a split galleon to Duel at Dawn. And that's one of the issues with bringing the ship to this map, is that it can be difficult to actually get good angles on your targets. As you see here, the blue team is using the ribs as kind of a defensive shield. So anytime the Spire starts taking too much damage, they can just duck down and zone out all of the Galleon shots. And because the Galleon is such a heavy ship with such low acceleration, it's very difficult for them to reposition to get a new angle. But it looks like Paul from Accounting going for the charge here. This man is just made of balls. He's charging in. We've almost got the close range side. Well, I said close range side. They're both close range sides on the Paul from Accounting. But unfortunately losing all their guns to the watch of the Spearhead. And Lumberjack shots on the Paul from Accounting. Hades going down. Balloon is down. Armor's at about half. Storm from Delight now moving in. They've exposed themselves from the Galleon. The Spire is going to be a much easier target. As you see the whole armor going down in just a few seconds. Heavy flak coming out. Rebuild just in the nick of time. If a single one of those heavy flaks hit the Spire, it's pretty much game over. They're going to have to be very careful. The balloon's on fire as well. And if Scott Sterling can land another Lumberjack shot, that's going to be at the end of the Spire's balloon. And in the meantime, the AFF Spearhead has the Paul from Accounting locked down, locked in a little cage of wreckage around them. Right side light Carronade doing a number on the Paul from Accounting's balloon. So Paul from Accounting totally out of this fight. But again, Storm Delight now has backed out. They've backed behind this cloud. And as a result, Scott Sterling having a lot more difficulty landing these shots. We'll see if Paul from Accounting squeaking out a Watcher Barrage here onto Scott Sterling. Taking out the Beacon Flare Gun, but nothing else. So not a particularly effective Watcher. And then losing everything on their ship to the ZFS Spearhead yet again. Oh, here's the dual focus. Light Carronade coming out, doing a little bit of damage to the whole armor, knocking out the balloon. Scott Sterling looked like one heavy flak shot hit there on the Paul from Accounting. Lumberjack coming out. Paul from Accounting is sinking here. Hades, locking into the whole armor. If the armor breaks here, I think that's going to be perhaps the first kill for Red Team. Don't give it up now. You need to get this one. You need this to make your comeback, and there's the armor going down. Heavy flak a little bit wide. Heavy flak going into the balloon. But I think we're going to be able to finish this one off with just Hades. Yeah, Lumberjack for the last shot. Now they need to now Zealous Armada needs to capitalize. ZAF Spearhead, get in there. Storm Delight does not have Watcha, so you can move in pretty much unabated. They do have Mine Launcher, but I haven't seen a lot of mine play from Sunstorm's crew. So it looks like they're not going to be relying on it here. Lumberjack shots coming out. Scott Sterling is not doing a good enough job supporting their ally here. Because we need some Lumberjack shots because the Paul from Accounting has already spawned back in. Soon ZAFS Spearhead is going to be taking full brunt of the Blue Galleon, and so Spearhead doing a great job realizing this. And he's already backing out. Really smart. I was just checking the teams here. It looks like most of the newer players for Zealous Armada are on the Spearhead. Gatling coming out from Paul from Accounting. They're not going to be able to do any real damage, I don't think, to this red goldfish. But they're just kind of pushing them back, keeping them locked down so they're not in a position to charge on the Storm Delight. Storm Delight loses their whole armor here to the Lumberjack. Has to duck behind cover. Now Paul from Accounting is taking long range fire from the Scott Sterling. ZAF Spearhead's going low. It looks like he's going to try to get into position to finish off the Storm Delight, but having a little bit of difficulty with the Gatling gun. As the Paul from Accounting moves in, Paul from Accounting gets a good Watcher Barrage on the Scott Sterling, but loses their balloons, so they're losing altitude here. Hades coming out. We see also some good Minotaur play here, knocking the Scott Sterling away. Oh, hey, also the goldfish died, by the way. By the way, guys. I missed that one. So when I said the Spearhead was moving in to finish off the Spire, that in fact did not happen. I'm sorry for lying to everyone. And this is pretty bad. This is bad. 3-1 for Predator Island. Scott Sterling is getting dual focus. They've lost their balloon. They're going to sink to the bottom of the map. These two blue ships have a ton of firepower between them. Oof. Ugh. Gross. No, run. Run, Spearhead. No, that's the wrong way. That's the map edge. You have to run the center map. Oh, God. I don't know about this. It's very quickly going to get... You see where my camera is? This is the edge of the map. I can't move back any farther than this. So as soon as the goldfish... Oh, this camera movement's weird. Can't go any farther than that, so now he has to go back forward. Scott Sterling has opted to take a close spawn, which I don't know if this is the best best decision, considering the Paul from Accounting is running that dual close-range galleon. And oh, Hwacha coming out. Big lumberjack shots on Scott Sterling, knocking out the balloon as well. Spearhead moving in, getting Hwacha barrage onto the Paul from Accounting. Scott Sterling, drogue shooting, trying to stay in the fight, but they're falling behind the ribs. So if the Spearhead wants... If Zealous Armada wants to win this fight, Spearhead needs to get a kill right now. Gatling coming out, trying to take down the Hwacha on the red goldfish. Hwacha has not gone down yet. They still have it. It's on fire. It's at very low health. And let's see if we can... Okay, the Hwacha's up. Armor on Spearhead's down. Unarmed light flak's not going to do enough damage. Spearhead going for a ram here. Taking out Stromdelight's armor, but not their balloon. Oh, and here come the mines. Big mine hit on the Spearhead. Taking out their hull armor. Light flicks, again, unarmed light flaks. Not going to do enough damage to actually finish them off. Hwacha coming out in response, taking down everything on the Stromdelight. But unfortunately, the Hwacha is not going to be enough to get this kill. And the mines are just making it so difficult for the red goldfish to actually move in and secure the kill in the way that they need to, which is by smashing the spire with the front of their ship. So Spearhead respecting the mines, they're going to back out. It looks like they're going to try to move back to support their ally, because in the meantime, the Scott Sterling, also losing their 1v1 here, has taken about 70% permahull from in their fight with the Paul from Accounting. Ooh. Minotaur hit. A Hwacha coming out, too. Spearhead, we need some communication here from the red team as the galleon goes down. There was an opportunity there where the Spearhead started getting mined out, where they could have just totally disengaged from the spire, gone for the Paul from Accounting, and if they had gotten a good Hwacha, some Hwacha connections onto the the blue galleon, they might have been able to salvage that fight, but unfortunately not able to do so. And that's going to be a 3-0 victory for Predator Island.